seen a lot of surreal phenomena in every sense in my life uh, from the past 5 years since 2013. Do you hear me now? I have
Yes,
my headphones
yes.
plugged.
Yeah, you're coming through fairly clear. Yes. So
Great.
you had nothing as a child, only in the last 5 years?
When I was a child, I always felt sensitive. There is a well, I was raised by a Catholic family, so I've always been a Catholic, but I'm not a participant of the church because I don't consider myself very Catholic. You know,
Okay.
so I believe in Jesus and his history in many ways, but I don't consider myself part of the church because it's full of problems. You know,
Yeah,
there's there's pedophilia, there's a lot of money problems in religion. So religions are not the answer. You know, it's a separation of humanity in some way.
do you consider yourself spiritual?
I do consider myself very spiritual since I was a very little kid. But I was raised as a Catholic, so I was baptized, and my childhood was very happy. I feel like I've been very lucky to have the childhood I had, but at the same time I was overprotected in many ways.
Okay.
So energetically speaking, when a child here is full of maybe a stress or full of bad energy,
Yeah,
there are some ways of taking that energy from that kid, like using egg across their body to pull the negative feelings or energy from that child. So that was pretty much my childhood. No, I was always scared about. Uh, I was scared always about obscurity, night. You know, feeling alone at night. You know,
I just understand.
but it was. I guess I grew up as a normal child. Many children feel that way when they're young, but never had a paranormal activity when I was a child. I don't remember many. I mean, I always felt like I could feel energy, but I never saw a ghost. Even though I was always scared of the Hollywood, you know, kind of stuff like Moonbra from the Thundercats or Star Wars or all those things we grew up with, you know.
I understand.
So I grew up and I moved out of my house because I met someone and I moved out of my house with that person who was my boyfriend back then.
Okay.
Okay, so I went to live to a very humble place near Lima. Okay,
Okay.
which is very near to the international airport Jorge Chavez here in Peru in Lima.
Okay.
That place is called Ventanilla in Callao. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
Ventanilla has always been known for its UFO phenomena since the since the beginning of the year 70s of the decade of the 70s.
I understand.
There has been a UFO crash back in around 1974, I guess. I
Okay.
have information that I've talked to an ex officer of the police who
Okay.
told me that that UFO fell in Ventanilla, fell from the sky, you know,
Yeah.
in Ventanilla, and the Marines, the Peruvian Marines, took that ship, that saucer. They took it to the Marine, and a huge airplane from the from U.S. government came. Those big planes, you know, the Hercules, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the Hercules came from USA and took the UFO, as many other cases of UFOs that are being taken by the US government, you know, because Peru and many other countries in this region of America are US allies, you know,
Yes.
and because US has a lot of power,
Yeah.
it's probably we are under probably under control of your country, you know.
Yeah.
because
I'm actually
US
Canadian though. I'm in the
uh,
United States. I'm in the
uh
United States right now, but I'm actually a Canadian. So
you're Canadian. I know, but I mean from the US
yeah,
because you are in Arizona, right?
yes, right now I am. Yeah.
Yes. Well, so Mr. Cameron, that is part of the history of Ventanilla in Callao, which is in the north part of Lima, comparing to the south part of Lima,
Mhm.
where Chilca is located, where the Sixto Paz and Charlie Paz Wells
Yeah.
started all this contactism, with Grupo Rama.
Did you ever have any contact with Rama Group?
No, I've never been part of Rama,
Okay.
but I always felt interested about them.
Okay.
But I never was a part of Rama.
Okay.
Never.
Okay. So tell me about your experience. How does it start for you? How does things change?
Okay, so I was in 2013. I was having a rough time here in Lima. I was 20. I was 28 years old at the time.
Okay.
5 years ago. I'm 33 right now.
Okay.
So I was having monetary problems back then with my couple,
Yeah.
and I was working as a tourist guide,
Okay.
okay, for some agency here,
Okay.
and I ended up with no job because there was a problem with the heads of that place I used to work with. Okay,
Okay.
there was a problem, so I was looking for a job, and I was sending, the CVs, my papers to get jobs,
Yeah.
and sorry, it's pretty hot here because summer is starting, and I was kind of depressed because there was no many chance of getting jobs. I was kind of sad.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was connecting with myself. There was no much money to buy meat. There
I
was no
understand.
money to buy chicken back
Yeah.
because I was young and living with young people.
Yeah.
There was no work, so we were eating very like light food, like vegetables, rice. No meat,
Yeah.
and somehow my third eye or my psychic uh, you know uh, machinery inside our
Okay.
our bodies was a bit cleaner back
I
then.
understand. Yep.
So apart from that, I was every morning going to jog. I was very healthy back then. I was thinner back then,
Yeah.
and I went jogging every morning. And when I came back to the house, I fed the animals. We used to have some pets, dogs. There were some puppies back then in those days.
Yeah.
I'm talking about November 5th, 2013. Okay,
Okay.
November the 5th, 2013. That was the day that the contact event happened.
Okay.
Um, so I was asking for help to my guides. I consider my guides Jesus,
Okay.
or or the creator of all. I was asking for some kind of hope or some kind of chance to get a job.
I
So
understand.
every morning I did all this normal life, but there was a part that there was no money. There was a lot of happiness, in the center of my life. It was simple kind of life, but it was beautiful.
Okay.
That morning, I remember every morning. I want to recall all of this information to you because I think every piece of information of experiencers are very important
Yes.
because they may add information of how contact is done. Because, for example, I back then those days I was taking a lot of quinoa in breakfast.
Okay.
Quinoa,
Yeah.
is very
Noted.
fashionable
Yeah.
nowadays to eat quinoa. Many people do. There are studies that quinoa releases some type of lysina. It's called lysin or something,
Okay.
and it's associated that the antique or the old Incas, the Inca Empire, they fed themselves with quinoa.
Okay.
Okay, So the Incas developed, I didn't know that, but I found it some weeks ago on a YouTube channel of a Peruvian historian, you know. There is
Okay.
a theory that says that when we eat quinoa, we can develop telepathy, okay? There is a lot of chance of a more clear telepathy if we eat clean stuff and quinoa and this kind of foods, you know?
Okay.
So I was taking quinoa almost every morning back in those days. Excuse my English; it's not my first language.
Very good. Your English is very good. Don't worry. It's very good.
But I'm trying my best. So it was November 5th, and I remember it was around let's say 4 o'clock. Okay, so I decided to take a shower. So I remember I lightly I don't remember exactly how it was, but I remember that I was singing, you know. I usually sing when I shower, you know.
Okay. Okay.
So so I was very happy that day, but at the same time I was kind of depressed because there was no answers from those emails to get jobs, you know. So I decided to take a shower, and I was doing laundry back then.
Okay.
November is like this time of the year is starting to get hotter because summer is from December to March.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here in South America and Peru. So I started taking a shower, and when I finished taking a shower, I went back to the backyard. There is a front yard outside the house, and the backyard where there was the washing machine and the strings, you know, the
Yes.
strings to
Okay.
hang the clothes. Okay,
Yes. Okay.
so I changed my clothes to a short and a t-shirt, you know,
Yeah.
and I was with light clothes, you know, and I took all the wet clothes from the washing machine and I
Okay.
put it on a bucket, in a bucket, okay? In a
Yes.
bucket. I went under the strings
Yes.
to hang the clothes. Okay, so I started hanging the first piece of clothes, I hung it up, okay? The second piece of clothes, I hung it up. So I was like reaching the floor to take the clothes from the bucket. So
Okay.
when I was in the in to hang the third cloth, before I was raising the third cloth to the string,
Yeah.
I started visualizing from many kilometers to the south of my location, of my current location back then,
Okay.
to the south from where I was located in La Naval, which means is a house complex, you know, of Asian
Okay.
marine families. Okay,
Okay.
so facing the south to the house where I was located, you have the Pampilla refinery, which
Okay.
is a place where they take the fuel, you know,
Yes.
and some kilometers more to the south is Jorge Chavez International Airport here in Lima, and
Yes.
a little bit towards the ocean to the Pacific in a peninsula that is called El Callao, La Punta del Callao. So
Okay.
from that zone, from El Callao, I can see. Don't ask me how, but I could see like my eyes, like I'm watching you the screen right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
I could see with my eyes, but also with my psyche
Yeah.
that a, that a golden orange triangle, like a smartphone screen, was flying towards me.
Wow.
Okay, but rectangle, like a smartphone
Yeah.
screen, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
This orange rectangle was flying towards me. Here in Peru, the football teams have these little balloons that looks like sausages, you know.
Yes. Okay.
So my mind, because I never had an experience like that, thought that I was watching a balloon from maybe a soccer team that was flying in the sky. I don't know. And also because there was sunset in that moment, because it was 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
It gets dark at 6:30 in this time of the year, you know.
Okay. Okay.
So I thought I was watching a balloon, but at the same time, this thing was coming very fast from a long distance, and I didn't understand that I was having some kind of vision or by location. You know, my
Yeah.
mind was
Yeah.
somewhere else, you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that I was watching like with my psychic eyes or through the wall, because if you were standing in the backyard where I was, if you see to the south, you will see the neighbor wall, but you couldn't see far from that, you know? You couldn't see through the wall because we are not magicians, we are not machinery, you know?
I understand.
So I saw this rectangle coming, and it stopped on top of me.
Okay.
But after that, I could feel that all of the surrounding me, the time was slow.
Yeah.
There was no sound. There was like this weird static, but it was not noisy static. It wasn't like a radio signal or radio wave or a dial, like a radio station kind of static. No, it was like a silent static. Everything was slow, relentalized. I don't know how it says in in English, but it was slow. And I raised my physical eyes. I raised my physical eyes to the sky to see the rectangle. You know, when I raised my eyes to the before I raised my eyes to the sky, a voice that was similar to mine or to my brother's voice
Okay.
said to me telepathically, Sebastián, mira al cielo. Sebastián, mira al cielo. One time only. Sebastián, mira al cielo. So it means, Sebastián, look up the sky. Look up to the sky.
Okay.
I raised my eyes and I saw this golden, orange, like gold, amber color glowing on top of the house, that it was getting smaller and bigger on top of me, like a fluorescent. It was huge. Okay, like mm, I could calculate that it was like the size of a school bus, you know,
Okay. Still rectangular?
rectangular.
Yeah, still.
Always it was rectangular. The corners were round shaped, like a smartphone,
Okay.
like an iPhone or an Android, you know,
Okay.
round shape. There was no say, corners like square, you know. It
Yeah.
was rounded. Okay, and in the middle of that form, there was a humanoid form with long hair to
Shoulders.
the shoulders. Okay,
Okay.
wavy hair. I could only see the contour of the body. The body was perfect, you know, like angelical body. You know, we have canons of beauty that we were taught. For everyone, beauty is not the same. I'm not saying that a perfect body must be muscled or thin, you know,
Yeah.
but it was like an angelic form, you know. I never saw a contour that perfect, you know. It
Yeah.
was not fat, but not thin.
Yeah.
A big back and shoulders, small waist, kind of long arms, you know, strong legs and long legs, and wavy hair. But there was no face, only contour. Okay.
And
When
what
I
color
saw
was the
that,
hair? What color was the hair?
no, I couldn't see any color. It was
Okay.
just the form inside of this smartphone shape. Okay.
Okay.
So it was going bigger and little, bigger and little on top of me. Okay. So I felt in my solar plexus, in my chest,
Yeah.
I felt a lot of effervescent feeling of love, you know, but some kind of love that I couldn't understand, because it was like huge type of love mixed with fear, because it was something that I never saw before, you know.
I
I
understand.
always, I always believed, before this, I always believed in UFOs and ghosts and all these past life phenomena and everything. I always, Uri Geller, I always thought everything was interesting, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
in the paranormal area. But I always thought that one day I will be able to see a flying saucer. But I always thought that the first time I saw a UFO, it will be like the metallical plate or the round shaped thing, like the usual stuff, you know. I
Yeah.
never thought that my first experience was to see a being, you know, have an experience of a contact on top of me, of a I don't know which is fourth, fifth contact. I don't care. It's a contact, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
of some kind.
Yeah.
So I started feeling this huge sense of love, and just give me a sec. I need to check. Ah, yeah. Sorry, I was checking the keys of this car,
Yeah.
and I'm inside a car right now. Sorry,
Yes. No
I
problem. Sure. Go ahead.
So Mr. Cameron, I I I felt this feeling of huge love on top of inside me after I heard this voice and look into that being. But I started feeling a lot of fear, and I felt I was minuscule because this thing was huge and was something that I never saw before, and I felt like tiny, insignificant human being that all of his life was how do you say it in English? When you are you've been lied. I've been lied because no one teaches
Okay.
to prepare for this time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always felt like that all of my life, my teachers, my parents, and many other people lied to me in some way because I was never prepared for something like this. So I started feeling very, very scared, and I started screaming, "Ovni, Ovni!" But I cannot recreate that shout because I
What?
probably break your
Yeah.
ears right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. UFO. Yeah.
I started screaming UFO, UFO. Like there was my friend Alejandra was inside the house with Danielle,
Okay.
her husband, and their firstborn baby, which was very little, and they were changing the diapers of the baby. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
so I started screaming UFO, UFO, and this form, this human shape inside this humanoid shape inside this orange light vanished inside the light,
Oh wow.
and the light become a little bit a little more little,
Yeah.
and it started flying towards the north,
Okay.
leaving the location I was. So I was like very scared. I was shouting, and I crossed the house
Yeah.
to across the kitchen, and I ended up in the front yard. Okay, in
Okay.
the front yard, I kept on shouting, UFO, UFO! Everyone, get out! Watch this! See this! You know?
Yeah.
And Alejandra, my friend, came outside and said, "Hey, dumbass! Sorry for the word, no?
No,
Hey,
no.
dumbass! Why are you screaming that much? What's wrong? Calm down, you know, calm your tits, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
calm,
Yeah. Yeah.
calm down." And I grabbed her from the shoulder. I grabbed
Yeah.
my friend Alejandra from the shoulder, and I pointed her face to the horizon in the north.
Yeah.
And she saw the rectangle.
Yeah.
Have you seen Tom Cruise film with Dakota Fanning, The World of Worlds, The War of the Worlds with Tom
Yeah. Yeah.
Cruise?
Yeah. Yeah.
The little blonde girl, when she watches these alien octopuses destroying the city and she's
Yeah.
like scared, my
Yeah.
friend face was the same, you know.
Yeah.
She didn't saw the humanoid form inside the rectangle, she just saw the rectangle leaving, you know.
Yeah.
And she told me, "Sebastian, what is this?" And I told her, "Well, I never seen this before, but this is some kind of UFO phenomena, you know.
Yeah.
Stay calm." I'm not calm because I didn't tell her that I saw the humanoid, you know, because it was seconds ago. It
Yeah.
was all of this event for me in normal time happened at most for a minute and a half or almost 2 minutes.
Okay.
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 I told you that it was 4 o'clock when I started showering.
Yeah.
When I ended showering, it was 4:15, more or less.
Yeah.
When I started hanging the clothes in the hanger after I took the clothes from the washing machine, it was 4:30. So this event for me lasted like 4:32. Imagine, okay?
Yeah.
Imagine it was 4:32 at the end.
Yeah.
This object vanished in the clouds in the northern horizon from my location.
Okay.
When I entered the house, my cell phone was on top of my bed, and I
Yeah.
took it and I watched the time, and it was 6:30.
Wow.
6:30.
Okay.
What happened to me in 2 hours?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
lost the time of 2 hours. I have no memory of what happened. If I remember what happened because I'm telling you my story, but
Yes.
I don't know if something else or if I did have another type of communication or another type of download or some sort.
Yeah.
I'm talking in all these terms because after that, like Reiniero Hernandez, you know Reiniero, right?
Yes. Yes.
Mr.
Yeah.
You become obsessed of your experience and you start reading and knowing all the history of contactism, and you want to know what happened in North America back in the 60s or 50s, you want to happen what happened to Rama back in the 70s, you want to happen, you want to happen what happened everywhere back then,
Yeah.
So I was like shocked, and I said, well, maybe this is a sign, okay? 3 days after that, I had a phone call. My friend had a phone call that they had a job for me.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, so it was kind of a sign for me. It was like a sign of hope, and I related that when that being told me with my brother's voice or my voice.
Yeah.
It was very similar. I cannot say it was my voice because I wasn't speaking to myself.
Yeah.
It was a voice from someone else inside my head talking to me,
Okay.
This person said, Sebastian, look up the sky. For me, after 3 days, it meant don't lose hope, That's the meaning I can give it now after many months and many years of studying what happened to me,
Okay.
I don't say I have the total answer. I haven't done regressive
Therapy. Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to do it because there are not many serious people like you and many others who do serious UFO research. You're not those. I don't want to say names, but you're not those channels who charge online and
Yeah.
who want to make a circus from it.
Yeah. Have you?
I know we all need money,
Yeah.
but there's no unity in ufology. There must be unity,
Yeah. Do you do meditation at all?
I do, but I've always been more like a happy when I drink, when I listen to music, I meditate, like not a type of meditation like Hinduism,
Yeah.
So apart from that, Mr. Cameron, from that day, I had been experiencing a lot of UFO and paranormal activity in my life. Not the first year from that. The first year I always walked watching the sunset, but to see if this being came back, never came back,
Yeah.
One day I was going to work from that same house in
Okay.
Betania.
Okay.
Listen to what I'm going to tell you. This is real, something that I say that Men in Black are real everywhere in the globe, not
Okay.
only in North America, and Men in Black are not only dressed in tuxedos, wearing ties or elegant hats.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could look like Latino also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
I was standing in the bus stop at 10 minutes in the very early morning. Okay.
Okay.
There was few people at the bus stop. There was a mother with two kids,
Okay.
lunchbox ready to go to the school. There were two old men speaking, and there were two other ladies, I guess, or some people waiting for the bus.
Okay.
I was waiting for the bus, and if I didn't take the next bus coming towards the station, I will get work late, and I never want to get late at work,
I understand.
So I was waiting to the bus, and these two men were like, they looked bald. They didn't have hair, but they had hats, like soccer, like baseball hats.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, but they didn't have hair. They didn't have hair because there was no trace of hair at the sides of their heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were like twins.
Okay.
Okay, they were like identical, but they were like 70-year-old men.
Okay.
Wearing these huge sunglasses like Paris Hilton sunglasses. You never see like 70-year-old men wearing glasses like Gucci style glasses, like huge mosquito type, you know. It's
Okay. Yeah.
weird, you know.
Yeah.
A lot more less in South America, you know.
Yes.
Maybe some weird European rich place, you know, Monaco, I don't know, somewhere, you know, but not in Peru, you know. And I saw these men talking in a weird, I heard this man talking in a weird language that I never heard before, you know.
Yeah.
It was not English, was not Spanish, was not Chinese, not Japanese. I don't speak these languages, but I know how they sound, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least I know one word from many language, you know. I'm not
Yes.
ignorant, you know.
Yeah.
So this was not a dialect from the jungle. This was no dialect from the it was no Quechua,
Yeah.
the Quechua.
Yeah.
It was no Aymara. It was none of that. The voices sounded something metallic,
Okay.
metallic voice language. It
Okay.
was something like this. Let me try to act it, okay?
Okay.
It
Okay.
was something like this. I was speechless. Mr. Cameron.
Wow.
I thought to myself, you know, what is going on? I mean, these men, apart that they look weird, they are acting and talking in a weird way, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know why the other people around us didn't notice, you know, because I was 30 centimeters from there. They were next to me, standing in the bus stop, you know.
Yeah.
They were next to me, you know. So I was like listening to them, and then I stared at them like with my. I know I have crazy face, you know, with my beard and all the look I have, but I was staring at them like this, you know,
Yeah.
and they saw me and they stared back at me, both of them.
Wow.
And as soon as they stared back at me, they broke lines. One of them took the bus that came to the bus station and go and left. Okay, he went on top. He took the bus and left. Okay, the bus left.
Yeah.
And the other guy turned around and walked towards the aisle, you know, next to the street to walk away.
Yeah.
So I couldn't move because I was waiting for my bus to come. I didn't want to get late to work.
Yeah.
So I went to the bus came and I took the bus, but when I put my first foot on the bus, I turned around to see where the man was going. And he turned around when I was just taking the bus and stared at me like this. Like this.
Yeah.
I never saw their eyes because they were wearing these black glasses, but they were very dark black glasses, you know,
Yeah.
very weird. They were short. They were both wearing jackets like normal, elder men, you know. They didn't look that old because they could move easily, you know, but they looked like they were older than 50, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. They were wearing similar shirts. They were sport elegant, you know. They were not elegant like the usual Men in Black, you know, like Tommy
Yeah.
Lee Jones and all these
Yeah.
type of Men in Black you
Yeah.
may get in North America, you know. So they left. Okay, so I started like, okay, maybe they're following me, or maybe because Ventanilla is located in the outskirts of the city, maybe
Okay.
they live there because you have very rural, there are some houses that are very poor in those places, okay? So maybe they live inside those houses, in one of those houses, and maybe they are other type of beings when there are closed doors, you know?
Okay.
Because there's a theory that many Men in Black, maybe they are probably clones, or maybe from outer space, you know, other
Yeah.
race, you know, maybe some type of workers, or we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so they left. I didn't saw them again. Then the years passed, and in 2015, I I did my relationship with my friend didn't continue back then,
Yeah.
and I moved back to my parents' house. Okay,
Okay.
I went back to my parents.
Okay.
So I came back to Surco, which is somewhere in the middle of the city. And sorry, it's getting very hot. I need to get out of here. Just a second. And this, I started looking a lot of information, and I started doing a lot of meditation. There were some videos on YouTube about Sirius,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
star of Sirius meditations.
yeah.
Sirius being meditations and that stuff. So let me take my jacket just a second. Sorry.
Okay.
So, Mr. Cameron, I was doing all this type of meditation, and I like the free book. I bought the free book online.
Okay.
The book
The new
everyone
one.
is reading, the
The
new
new one.
one,
Yeah. Okay.
and there's a lot of answers that many people, after having these experiences, feel a lot more spiritual after that for no reason.
Yeah.
I've always been a spiritual. I always like mystic related stuff,
Okay.
music and all that surrounding type of environmental music.
Yeah.
But I've never felt like this type of close to spirituality before. And then what I did was started watching the sky a lot more often.
Okay.
So I filmed these spheres on top of my house, metallic spheres. If you check my YouTube channel, Sebastian Bulos, you will
Okay.
see that I've uploaded many videos where you can see at daylight spheres on top of my house. At night, I've seen like these orbs, like the ones that are filmed in Mount Shasta,
Okay.
or the ones that are filmed when they do CE5 or RAM experiences.
Okay.
These orange lights or white lights sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Can you
I
sense when
started.
they're coming? Do you know when? Do you ever get messages to go outside and then they're there?
Yes, I was getting to that part.
Okay.
I never, I only had two telepathic messages in my life. Okay, the one I had on the 5th of
Okay.
September 2013, with that light being on
Yeah.
Ventanilla on top
Yeah.
of my house, and these times before the second experience, I felt this effervescent feeling on my plexus, on my chest,
Uh-huh.
that I needed to go out and maybe I will watch something. And when I went out to the terrace to maybe take some air or see the sky, I could see these rounded shaped objects. So I filmed them with my smartphone. I filmed them because I don't have professional camera.
Yes. Okay. I understand.
Okay, so I filmed it. Apart from that, before I get to the second, because I want to do it in order for
Okay.
you to see the progress of the experiences and the type of experiences that are maybe all related.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
we are not sure, but maybe. um, I went one time with some friends to have paella at lunch in the mountains of Lima, which is very like a mountain place, very nice. So we went to a Spanish restaurant to eat paella. I went inside this restaurant, and it was in a big garden, very green, in the sunny day, under the leaves, it was lovely
Yeah.
afternoon. And we were eating paella, everything. And I went to the lobby of that because it was a restaurant, but also a hotel. Okay,
Okay.
so I went to the lobby, and I was staring to the how do you say, living room, to the lobby. There was some sofas,
Yeah.
some beautiful cuadros or pictures in the screen, in the walls. How do you say, on the
Yeah.
walls? The paintings,
Paintings.
the
Yeah. Okay.
paintings of the Cusco school, of painters, of saints and everything. And I saw the furniture, and I felt that it was very nice. The place was very
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
So I was checking all the furniture, but I felt weird, like someone old, like an old man, tall old man staring at me, but there was no one in the living room. It was clear day
Yeah.
with light. There was at the back of at the end of the at the end of the at the very end of the living room there was a window. I could see through the window the back garden, and there was no one watching at me. There was no waiter or maitre, or there was no one there.
Okay.
So I went to ask for a toothpick,
Yeah.
because I had some food on my teeth,
Yes.
and I asked the Spanish lady, "This place is lovely, but why do I feel it's so charged? Why it feels so heavy
Yeah.
inside? It's weird because I feel like someone is here, you know."
Okay.
And she told me, "Sebastián, espera un momento que ahora voy a la mesa y os cuento. O sea, wait a second that I will go to the table and I will tell you what's going on."
Okay.
I went to the table. I was talking to the chef that was the husband of her. Was the chef was they were a really nice Spanish couple talking to us, and
Okay.
the Spanish man, the chef, talked to us, was talking to us, and she came to the table, and she told us, "Sebastian went to ask for a toothpick, to the lobby, and I was there, and he asked me why it was so weird there, why it felt so, the environment, why it was so charged of no." In that living room where Sebastian was standing, there is a chest, a coffin, like a chest with some magazines on top.
Okay. Okay.
Inside the chest there is a skull,
Wow.
a skeleton, a skull.
Okay.
In South American or shamanic, how do you say, people, the
Culture.
shamans, the culture,
Yeah.
they put the skull of a relative or someone who loves you
I understand.
to protect the house from any robbery.
Wow. Interesting.
How could I see or feel that man staring at me if I didn't know there was a skull inside a coffin or a chest,
Yeah.
that was covered with normal magazine and flowers on top, like a normal
Yeah.
place. They say that these skulls from a relative, the grandfather of the owners of the hotel was the skull. The skull was from the grandfather.
Okay.
So if any burglar or robber gets there to take something, they will feel this. It's no weird. It's no lie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I ended up noticing that I obviously was some kind of psychic or medium. There's some kind of psychic or medium ability within me.
Okay.
But I never had it developed before this way. I always felt weird things when I was a child, but nothing that serious. I remember when I was very little, the only thing I remember when I was very little is that I used to check on Jaime Maussan's TV programs, in Mexican channels,
Okay. Okay.
like almost everyone in South America, because, he is one of the investigators in South America,
Okay.
But I always remembering that one day after watching one of his programs, I was doing signs to the sky, like standing to the sky doing signs, but I didn't know why I was doing those signs when I was little.
Okay.
I was 11, or I was living my infant time and becoming a teenager. But I remember that I was doing signs like triangles and circles with my hands to the sky. I don't know why, but I remember that I've done it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all those years passed. I had this experience in 2013, and then I had this experience of the ghost there, and then in 2017, no, sorry, let me see. I had this UFO. No, I saw these spheres and everything on top of my house, the lights and everything. I have everything with dates and times in my videos. All the videos are with the information for me for later investigation, you know, to see if there is any connections, you know,
Got her.
to
Yeah.
see, you know. And on August the 1st, this year, 2018, I was changing my clothes. It was in the afternoon, like 5, you know, no, it was 6 something in the afternoon, and I
Okay.
was changing clothes. Just took the same. The thing that I relate this is that I also took a shower. I was changing to leave my house, you know, and everything. No, sorry. Let me rewind, okay? Because I've jumped an important event, okay? Apart from these normal UFOs and lights I saw on the sky in the sky of my house, on December 14th, the 14th of December of last year, I was preparing myself to go to the cinema like I usually do. I love cinema,
Okay.
to watch a Star Wars movie, okay?
Okay.
So I was sitting in the terrace of my father's house, in the terrace.
Okay.
I was watching the sky. It was dark. It was getting darker, but it was almost full dark, you know.
Yeah.
And on top of my house, I saw this black, like flying. I don't know how to describe it. Like I first thought it was like uh, the garbage bag, you know, a
Yeah. Yeah.
garbage bag flying, you know.
I understand.
But I saw, okay, but I saw this rectangle, very like black carpet, like a black flying carpet, like Aladdin.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
On on top of that rectangle, there was like a dwarf or like a Jedi-looking type of entity with a hoodie, covered all in black, like a Franciscan monk, like a monk, you know,
Okay.
flying on top of my house.
Wow. And
I
no
I
face?
took I tried to film it, and I have a very short. I'm now using a more advanced phone, a Huawei, you know.
Oh yeah.
But back then I had an HTC phone. The camera was not so good,
Yeah.
so I tried to record it. Apart that I was excited because I saw this entity and I was screaming at this. Hey! I took my hat. I took my hat, and I was like, "Hey, turn around, come near me." I was whistling, you know. I was listening. I was whistling to that being, asking for him to come near, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he passed. It was, I know the exact time because I have it on video, you know.
Okay.
It was December 14th at 6:42
Okay.
p.m.
Yeah.
6:42.
Okay.
I talked to Peruvian investigator of this entity that is called humanoide volador. Here in Lima, we call it humanoide volador. Like in Mexico, some people call it la bruja de Monterrey or Monterrey's witch.
Okay.
Or many people, I just saw a photo of a being the other day. Yesterday, I saw a photo. Can I send you an image in
Sure.
this?
Sure. Let's see how. I'm not sure how you do it. Can you take over the screen?
I'm using my phone, but this phone is I'm very happy with this phone because it's like, yeah, I can see it.
Because in the beginning, in the middle there should be a green thing there. In the middle of the
Yeah,
bottom.
compartir, share, compartir.
Sure. You can take over you can,
Yeah.
it'll present your screen.
You maybe know the name of this entity, but this is the entity that I cannot relate this phenomena with, and maybe you know it because you are full of this information, and I'm sure you know it.
Okay, it's coming.
Subidos en pausa.
Oh yeah. I know which one. That's I don't remember the name, but I can quickly.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
The Montgomery case or some kind of name of that.
Yeah.
That is not. It's not the Mothman. Okay, it's not the Mothman.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know which one. Yeah, that's early 1950s or 60s. This case, right?
I'm not sure. I will be lying to you, but I saw it yesterday. On I don't know how it arrived to me, to my Facebook. wall, you know, not my wall, but while I was scrolling, you know, yesterday,
Yeah.
I don't know how I came up to this image, you know, but
And this is the being that you saw, close to the being?
no, it was something like that, you know, some
Okay.
type of monk that
Okay.
was covering his face, but when I tried to check his face, it was like grayish face. Okay, so there's a theory that this entity may not be just biological, but it could be also a machine. It could be an android, you know.
Yeah. Well, if
It
you
could.
look in the free survey, if you look at the free survey,
Mm,
they have questions. Quite a few people see hooded figures, and there's brown, there's black hoods, there's
see,
stuff
it
like that.
was grayish black, brown, you know.
And nobody can ever see the face. It's always common. You can't see the face.
Exactly, because it's somehow like dark, and the clothes is also dark, so there's no contrast, you know. So
Yeah.
you cannot see the face. Okay, so I was like this excited. My friend came I told everyone, you know, and I went to see the movie, you know, and then I talked to Alexander, which is an investigator here in Ica, the south of Lima, where all the mummies and all these
Okay.
weird things are taken from, you know. The mummies and all these things are also a different topic, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But Alexander told me that I have to be patient, that maybe it will show up again, you know.
Yeah.
So I decided to check the sky every other evening of the upcoming days, you know. I went outside, and the next day, the day after that, and the day after that, and it happened 5 days later. 5 days later, it was December 14th, the first. December 19th, 5 days later, it
Okay.
was December 19th,
Okay.
2017.
Okay.
The first time was at 6:42. This time was at 6:47. 5 days later,
Uh,
5 minutes later.
okay. Okay.
Why there's a synchronicity
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw this same entity a little bit farther from my ceiling, from my terrace, a little bit higher,
Yeah.
but it looked like a human shape, and also it looked like two lentils. It it changed its form from a human to two things. Don't ask me how, because I don't know how to explain it. I recorded at the same time. I have two. The first two videos are really bad. I will send you the videos
I
later
appreciate it.
for you to check the information.
I appreciate it.
And the third video, I I took the two videos. The second video, I also screamed to the being. I also was whistling, you know, everything,
Yeah.
moving my arms, you know. And I was waiting for a third time, you know. The third time is a charm, they say, right?
Yeah.
It was December 24, you know, Christmas Eve.
Okay.
My mother was preparing with my granny. They were preparing this beer cake they do for Christmas, you know,
Okay.
with raisins, and this very very
Yeah.
tasty. And I told them, Mom, the humanoid, this black entity will appear again. Come up with me, and you will see it. They were busy in the kitchen. They didn't want to leave the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay.
So I went upstairs and I said, okay, no one believes me. Everyone believes I'm psychotic, crazy
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
since 2013. I'm one stoner, you know. I'm everything for everyone, you know.
I
I'm a
understand.
crazy man,
I
you know.
understand.
So uh, I was waiting, and it was Mr. Cameron. It was 6:52. Okay, because I calculated that as at 5 days later, with 5 minutes of difference, you know, first it was 6:42, then
Yeah.
it was 6:47 the second time, and the third time would be at 6:52. It was 6:52, and I was with my cell phone on recording, and nothing came up. But then I checked to the left part of my the sky, a lot more further than the second one. I saw these two lentils, or two rounded shaped UFOs flying in the horizon, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is something, you know, like there is some kind of synchronicity of this being that it shows up 5 days from different and 5 minutes of difference between each time, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, that was last year. In
Did
the
you
summer,
did you manage to photograph that?
no, I have 3 videos. I will send them to you,
Okay.
okay? I have 3 videos. The third video, the one in the 24th, is the most clear, okay?
Okay, so that's the one
I
you
will,
have.
because they are heavy videos,
Yeah.
even though you won't see much in the first 2 more,
Yeah.
but in the third you will see a lot more clear.
Okay.
The videos are heavy, so I will upload them to Google, Google Drive,
Google Drive, yeah.
and I will send you my email and everything so you can check all my files, okay?
I appreciate it, Sebastian.
Okay, so Mr. Grant, all that summer, whenever I went jogging or whenever I was doing something, I saw these white or spears on top of the sky flying, you know, many come from the south to the north, other at night, you know, but I didn't have any telepathy messages after that, you know.
Yeah.
So I recorded all these weird UFO phenomena during all this year. On December the 1st, that I was telling you some minutes ago, on August the 1st, August the 1st of 2018,
Okay.
like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, I was taking a shower, like the first day in 2018. I ended the shower, I was changing my clothes, and I was going to put my towel outside, you know, so it can dry, you know.
Yeah.
But before I went outside, I was changing my clothes and everything, and I didn't receive a telepathic clear message like the first time someone talking inside my head. This time, a random phrase for me in that moment of the day came to my forehead, to
Yeah.
my psyche.
Yeah.
It said, sal afuera y míranos.
Okay.
Go outside and look at us.
Wow.
Go outside and look at us. I went outside and I didn't thought I took my cell phone and it was in my trouser, okay, in my jeans.
Yeah.
I went outside, I hung my towel, and I saw the sky, and I saw these two, like the same, like in the same, like in the 24th of December.
Yeah.
2 lentils, or these 2 type of human lentil form. It's weird because for me, I call it naked eye. With my naked eye, without watching through the camera lens, with my naked eye, I could see that this human form changed its form to a sheep, and then it became human, and then it became round, and at the same, it's weird because it's shape shifting. It could be shape shifting entities, you know.
Yeah.
The battery of my cell phone is dying. Let me charge. I just took the headphones, so I'm gonna try, because there's no hole. There's only one hole in for my phone. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you very well. Keep going.
Sorry, Mr. Cummins. So it was the August 1st, and I received that message. Okay, after that message, I was like obsessed. You know, I need to do more research. You know, I need to talk to not only to experiencers or to go to UFO conferences. You know, before that, I went one time to Six Topaz conference that I didn't enjoy much because he only showed photos of his Isla de Pascua or Easter Island pictures from Facebook.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less about his, you know, because I don't have nothing against, I don't have nothing against him, but I paid to hear it was important information, but it was just his pictures talking about his contact experience, you know. There was not much from it. Before that, in 2016, I went to Ricardo Gonzalez conference that I felt that it was a lot more similar to what I've experienced than Sixto Paz experiences, even though Ramos and Sixto Paz and Charlie Paswell's experiences are also uh,
They're
they
connected.
they're they are somehow similar to what I experienced also, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But because of Ricardo Gonzalez and Enrique Villanueva and this type of contact
yeah,
people, experiencers that are more, you know, from my time, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So I felt a lot more connected to them and their approach towards ufology and towards contactism and everything in
yeah,
this area, you know.
yeah.
So I respect everyone's work, you know, but I've realized that there's a lot of these, I don't know how to say it. There's no like feeling of sharing free information, you know. Contactism must be free for everyone, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and
You
and
know,
that's the thing, because people, experiences like you, have the message. That's what I say. You're never going to learn what's going on until you talk to somebody who's actually interacting with the phenomena. You doesn't matter how many UFOs you see or how much metal you have. People
yeah.
like you, I believe, have the answer.
Yes, not only people like me, also people like you, because I think you've also been an experiencer, but you also do research and you connect everyone's experiences with everyone's, and you try to see it as a whole map, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I
This
didn't
is
have
what.
any dramatic things. I had very close encounters in 1975, and I was like you. I was crazy, man. I would just like read everything, try to figure out what's going on. And I think that's
That's why.
fun.
That's
Yeah.
why since I saw your interviews with Alexis Brooks,
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you
Okay.
know,
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I really enjoy those, you know,
Yeah.
and after that I've had these experiences, you know, of seeing these humanoid forms flying on top of my house. I saw them. I've been seeing them in the past month. In total, I told you that I saw them 3 times,
Yeah.
and in August 1st, it was the fourth time. Okay, the
Yeah.
fourth. You know.
Yeah.
Now today, up to today, I have seen it more than 10 times, like 12 or 13
Wow.
times.
Wow.
Okay. Last week or 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks back
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
from now, I was in the same terrace watching the sky, and I told everyone in my house that they were coming. I don't know how, but I knew, okay?
Yeah.
Because I have this feeling of effervescent, like salty, you know, feeling in my chest.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw them one day and I shouted, "Everyone, go come up here and look what I'm watching! Mom, Dad, what?" My dad is deaf. Is kind of deaf, so he
Yeah.
cannot hear well, and he loves golf, you know. But all his knees are oper are implants, you know. He has bionic. How do you say metal
So,
knees, you know?
yeah. 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 Knee replacements. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
operate.
he has replacements,
Yeah.
and he can't walk fast, you know, because he's 70 years old, you know.
Okay.
He's he's very energetic and he's fast, but you know there's a lot of stairs in my house. So when you're shouting up there, no one can get easily to where I am, you know.
Yeah.
So my mom says, "What's going on? You know, calm down." And I just saw the monk, you know, mom. It looks like sometimes it looks like a monk, you know. On August 20, my cell phone, the one that I'm using right now, was charging on my bed, and I was at the same place at 6 o'clock, and this form of like, you know, like a saint, like,
Yeah.
you know, Santa Rosa de Lima, like this cape, like a cape of a
Yes.
saint, you know.
Yes.
It was flying on top of my house, and I couldn't record it. This was the time that it came most near to me.
Wow.
Maybe it came more near to me because I didn't have anything to record it with, because maybe
That's right.
these entities don't want to be recorded, you know. Maybe they don't want, they know that maybe if you're charging, or maybe you have something in your hand to record them, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I couldn't record. So I decided to check more afternoons. Okay.
Yeah.
So I checked the human form. I got interviewed in a paranormal program here in on the radio.
Okay.
So I had more contact online, you know, with many experiences and people, you know. I was more open to this information, and I started filming more often this entity, you know.
Yeah.
One day on it's now November, on October, I guess October 20th, around. I have the exact time in my on my videos information. Okay, I
Okay.
don't remember right now because, as I told you, Mr. Cameron, it's been more than 10 times already. So I'm starting to lose
Track. Yeah.
not that uniqueness, because each time is unique,
Yeah.
but the times there's a lot of of timing information that I cannot
Yeah.
carry always
Keep
in my
track. Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
I cannot track it myself by
I
myself.
understand.
Okay,
I understand.
so I started seeing this more often, and one day I was upstairs and I saw it again, and my mom was near me, and
Wow.
she came out. She came outside, and I said, "Mom, look." She was wearing her glasses,
Yeah.
but not the glasses to see from far. She was wearing her glasses to
Oh.
see from near,
Yeah.
so she couldn't see well, you know.
Yeah.
And she saw very far from up there where I was losing the being, you know. It
Yeah.
was leaving, you know. And she said, "Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I see it a bit. It's there, right? It's weird, you know." And I said, "Mom, now you see, I'm not crazy. I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not a psycho. I'm not making this up, you know." And I went inside the living room, and something happened. My mom started screaming, another one," because she stayed outside.
Okay.
I was inside and she stayed outside. So
Wow.
I run outside to the terrace,
Yeah.
and she said, there, look. And I saw it, and it was a lot more near. And this time it was like a ranger, you know, someone like wearing like a black suit, like a ranger, like someone using a jet ski, or I don't know how to describe it. The form changes very often, you know, and the shape of the humanoid this time looked like this sea creature that is called langostino. How do you say uh, cocktail of seafood cocktail? The
Oh,
ones that
shrimp.
you
Shrimp.
shrimp. It
Shrimp.
looked like a flying shrimp or some sort of human-shaped shrimp, or
Wow.
with tentacles in with tentacle types
Wow.
of legs, you know.
Wow.
And can I send you the video? I have the video
Sure.
here,
Sure.
document.
Sure.
Let me see.
Sure.
I want you to do pause and check the. I don't know if it's too heavy to move the.
You can always send it with the other files, and we'll maybe talk again in a couple of days, and I'll review the stuff, and then we can talk again.
Sure. I was watching yesterday at night when I arrived yesterday from my course. I was listening and watching your interview to the young man talking about his experiences yesterday,
Oh, okay.
and I found I haven't get to the point yet. Okay, something very hard and very frightening happened to me 2 weeks ago. My father had a heart attack.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
He's very healthy. He's thin.
Yeah.
He always played golf, you know, all of his life. He's
Yeah.
not alcoholic.
Yeah.
He doesn't do hard drugs.
Yeah.
But he likes to eat a lot of milk and butter, and maybe that
I
he's
understand.
not his thing, you know. But
Yeah.
he had a heart attack. So 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 I saw this being the other day. I went to study to the university. I'm doing a course of e-commerce. I'm doing a e-commerce course.
Okay.
Okay, so I went there, and I was walking in the street, and I saw the humanoid again, and I recorded, and I have it on YouTube also. Okay,
Oh.
after that, one day one afternoon before November came, on the last week of October, my
Okay.
father has his ankle like screwed because he was walking on the golf course
Okay.
here, and he fell from a little hill, and his knee was bent. You know, he bent his
Okay.
ankle.
Yeah.
So it
Twisted.
was
Yeah.
all swollen, and it was getting huge. But he is addicted to golf. He loves golf. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the day after that, he went playing golf on Saturday. You know,
Okay.
he his ankle got bent on Friday, and he went to play golf on Saturday. So I was worried because my father is not that old, but he's not that young either. So I was worried for him because I love my family, you know,
Yes.
as everyone I consider, you know. So I was worried, and I was going to buy some things with my mom to the shopping center, you know, to the
Okay.
mall.
I understand.
Mr. Cameron, this is something that is, yeah, if watching light beings is surreal, if watching UFOs or having these experiences with entities that suddenly appear in the sky, or losing 2 hours of your life, of my life back in 2010, is surreal.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm about to tell you is even more.
Well, okay.
My father had this ankle bend, and on Saturday he went playing golf, and I
Okay.
was worried about him, okay, all morning. So I told my mom, I'm gonna call my dad to his cell phone to see if he's okay. He maybe went playing with a golf cart with his friends, you know, because probably he couldn't walk, you know, but he's addicted to golf, so nothing stops him from
Yeah.
playing, you know.
Okay.
So he went playing, and I ring his phone, but he didn't answer. A young man, like almost, his voice sounded like some years younger than me, like 28, late
Okay.
20s, late
Okay.
20s voice answered and said, "Aló, let me first tell you in Spanish, and then I'll translate it, okay?"
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It sounded like this. "Aló, aló is hello, okay?
Yeah.
Aló, Luis. Aló, Luis. Aló, Luis. ¿Eres Luis o Jesús? ¿Eres Luis o Jesús?" Which means, hello, Luis, okay?
Yeah.
Is this Louis? Is this Louis or Jesus? Is this Louis or Jesus? Okay?
Wow.
And I was like, maybe the phone is mixed with another call. You know, when you
Yeah.
call someone,
Yeah.
sometimes the phone calls get mixed. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
the phone lines. You know,
Yeah.
there's some kind of problem, and you hung up and you call again. So I was like, that young man said to an older man behind him that was maybe next to him, I can imagine. He said, "Pa, dad, pa, he's listening, perdón, pa, está escuchando y se le escucha respirar. He is listening to me, father. He is breathing." Like the young man was talking about me, that I was breathing through the phone, but I wasn't talking because it wasn't my father answering his phone. It was someone else, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
So I hung up. I was coward. I hung up.
Yeah.
Okay? And I was, yeah. Okay, the phone got mixed. My mom said, "I have to leave right now with you to the shopping center. Let's go." Okay, so I didn't call my father again. I went to buy some shoes my mother needed,
Yeah.
and I was outside. The woman, you know, when women buy clothes, they can take several ages
Yeah. Yeah.
buying clothes, you know. I was outside the store, and I said to myself, I need to know how my father is doing, you know. I need to call him again. So I grabbed my phone again, and I called him again. I called my father again like 1 hour and a half later from the shopping center. I called him, and this young man again answered my father's call, you know, my father's phone.
Yeah.
But it wasn't when I call my father, when I call him, he has a phone that is called 20, like maybe in North America you have Verizon and AT&T, you know.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you call like that, there's some voice that says 20, and it started ringing, you know. But these 2 times that I called him, there was no voice that said the brand of his phone. There was no 20 word phrase, you know.
Yeah.
This young man again answered and said, "Hello, Jesús, aló, Jesús, ¿me escuchas? And I said, and I didn't say anything. I said to myself, you know, oh, not again. This phone cannot get like mixed again with another phone. I need to know, I need to speak to my father, not to this. I
Yeah.
don't know who these people are, you know, but not again this man. Why is this man answering my phone call if I'm calling my father? That my father's phone number is also already saved in my phone book, you know,
Yeah.
in my phone.
Yes.
Uh, you know, my
Yeah.
directory, you know, where
Yes.
all my phones are.
I
So
understand.
how can the call get mixed if I'm not dialing with my fingers? I'm just pressing the phone number that is already saved from my dad's, you know.
Yeah.
So this man answers and says, aló Jesús, ¿me escuchas? And he says, he's listening. Él está escuchando. Le dice, sorry, I need to get this clear, okay? He said in Spanish first, okay? He says, Jesús, ¿me escuchas? Jesús, ¿me escuchas? He says, papá, ¿me está escuchando? The, which means, Jesús, are you listening? Are you listening? Dad, dad, he is listening. So this young man gives the phone to the older man, and
Okay.
an older man answers the phone.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay.
The old man, with a voice of someone in his 70s or maybe 80s,
Okay.
okay, answers the phone and says, aló, aló, Jesús, Jesús, yo soy tú del futuro, yo soy tú del futuro, yo soy tú del futuro. This in Spanish means, aló, in Spanish means, hello, Jesus, Jesus, I am you from the future. I am you from the future. I
Wow.
am you from the future.
Wow.
I was like, this cannot be happening to me, okay? I'm gonna lose my, I need to say, I'm gonna lose my shit, you know?
Yeah. 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 And this
Okay?
happened this is only a couple weeks ago.
Like 2 weeks, like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
3 weeks ago, okay? My father had this problem 3 weeks ago. So I was scared and I said, this is weird. Hung up. My mom came outside and I said, Mom, this happened to me. I told him, uh, I'm not gonna repeat everything again because I know I repeat everything to tell the story so everyone can understand exactly how it happened, you know? I'm not
Yeah.
gonna repeat it. But
Yeah.
my mom said, I also called your dad and some weird people answered the phone.
Wow.
I heard that they were talking someone about Jesus or some sort of names, you know?
Yeah.
My father's name is Jorge Luis.
Okay.
In the phone call I made to my father, there were two names that were mentioned, Luis and Jesus
Yeah.
and Jesus. I don't know why, but those were the two names mentioned, you know?
Yeah.
I never answered. And in the second call, this older man says, I'm you from the future 3 times.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it meant. I hung up the phone call. My father came back from golf in the afternoon, and as usual, at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And I said, I've been worried about you. And he said, I'm okay. My foot is a little bit swollen. It's a little bit swollen, but it will get better through the days. Okay. So on Monday, there was a Japanese movie premiere here in Lima. Japanese, like scary movie. I
Okay.
love a scary Japanese movie. I
Yeah.
went to the cinema and I never look at my cell phone in the cinema.
Okay.
Only if maybe I'm gonna get interviewed by someone like you, you know.
Okay. Okay.
But I
Good.
hardly get my phone in the cinema, and I look to the screen, and I got a WhatsApp message from my younger brother, and it says, "My father just had a heart attack. Come back to the house."
Wow.
I was like, I I stand up. I left with my boyfriend. We left from the cinema,
Yeah.
and I went to my house. I stayed there with my younger brother, and my father with my uncle and my mother and my older brother were in the hospital, you know, with my father. They were controlling him and they were putting some type of little filter in his heart, but
Yeah.
there was no surgery.
Okay.
My father's heart attack was a miracle. It was like a light heart attack, you know?
Yeah.
But he had all the pain and all the suffering, like everyone having
Yeah.
a heart attack, but he went through it. After those days, I realized that maybe that call was some kind of sign that I was going to suffer this kind of scary event in my life.
Yeah.
Because even though that being or that person, sorry, didn't tell me your father will get sick or someone will get a heart attack, he mentioned my father's name. He mentioned Jesus, and he mentioned that he was me from my future. He was myself from the future.
Yeah.
Talking to me. Maybe the theory of these beings that we see, maybe the UFOs that we see are somehow ourselves from the future trying to communicate with us. Maybe the UFOs that Mr. Grant Cameron sees are Grant Cameron in the future that communicates with Grant Cameron in 2018.
Yeah.
And the UFOs and beings that Sebastian Bulos sees are Sebastian Bulos descendants or being that he is in the future that tries to help his present.
That's right.
Maybe in the future we have the technology to help our past to get some kind of this knowledge about that something bad can happen to us, that will be in danger or maybe worried about something important in our lives, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to the conscious Facebook page I participate,
Okay.
and I wrote a message there. Have any one of you received phones from the future? And many people underneath uh, started answering that this happened to me, that someone that was dead contact me, that my father that is dead contact me, that my grandmother told me that she was going to die before she was dying. Like there are many types of these similar events, you know.
Yeah.
I had this call from a woman in Europe called Ida. I guess she participated in the survey of free, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And she called me on Facebook and she asked me that what had happened to me, and I told her that my father had a heart attack. That she told me that probably these beings were trying to communicate with me. When I went to Ricardo Gonzalez back then in 2016 conference, 3 days conference here in Lima,
Okay.
he said, apart from all this, his research on Alpha Centauri and the theories that humanity will probably destroy Earth because we are not taking care of Earth and we'll
Yeah.
probably end up in Alpha Centauri and such. He said that these beings, maybe all these beings probably are us in the future. Maybe the being that Ricardo Gonzalez communicate, which is Antarel,
Yeah.
that the same being that Paola Harris has seen in Shasta is probably maybe Ricardo Gonzalez himself in the future. We are not sure, but it's a theory, you know?
Yeah.
It's a theory. And we can all connect if we somehow know to find ourselves inside. You know, many people say that the journey is not outside, the journey is within ourselves,
You're
inside
correct.
ourselves,
Yeah.
you know?
You're correct.
To end up knowing ourselves before many people care about working all day, workaholics. You know, we all need money and we all need to eat
Yeah.
and pay rent, you know.
Yeah.
But we always forget about the lovely insignificant, not insignificant, the lovely and simple stuff of life that make life this beautiful and great, you know.
That's right. You're right.
So I had this experience back in some days from now, like 2 weeks ago, and from that day till now I've seen the humanoid one or two times more, or one time more, and my mother and everyone in my house now know that I'm not a crazy lunatic. That that somehow I have this ability because I also did my, how do you say, astrology card, your
Oh yeah.
natal card,
Your astrology chart.
as astrology chart.
Yeah.
In my astrology chart, I have Neptune in Sagittarius in the 8th house.
Okay.
When you have in the 8th house, you have mediumness and psychic abilities. Okay,
Okay.
it's not
Okay.
what I say; is that astrology says it. I
Yeah.
always believed in astrology since I was a little kid. Always grabbed the horoscopes from the magazines and from the newspapers, and always believed in those because I know that the outside and the inside, you know, the position of the planets and everything, make a map. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
of the events that are happening. Apart from that, Mr. Cameron, last year, the day of the, you know, in 1985, the year I was born, on November or October, November or December, there was a huge earthquake in Mexico City. You know,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
the earthquake in Mexico in
I
85.
remember. Yeah, I remember.
Okay? And last year, the same day that in 85 that the earthquake happened, last year it happened the same day.
Wow.
Okay. The same day that the earthquake happened, I had a dream. I wake up from a dream in the morning that I was in a place in Lima that didn't look much like Lima, but looked kind of like, I didn't know it was Mexico, you know, but it looked like somehow like Mexico City, you know.
Yeah.
And I was with some friends inside a apartment, and I told them, let's go walking outside to to you know, to walk outside. Let's go have a walk. And we went outside this apartment in my dream. And when I reached outside, I saw the apartment building broken like an egg, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
broken,
Yeah.
lying on top of the avenue.
Wow.
Okay, so I woke up and I went that day. I had the morning. I had a free morning and I went jogging, and I called my friend Alejandro that just returned from Mexico, and I told him, "Hey, I dreamed with you and with Andrea, with another friend. I had a dream of you and Andrea and me having a conversation inside a building, and when we went outside, there was an earthquake and the building was broken, you know."
Yeah.
And I told him, this is weird because I've just been in Mexico. It was lovely, you know, everything was lovely, you know. I hung up the call, and 1 hour and 30 minutes after the call, the earthquake happened in Oaxaca and Mexico City.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all these type of events not only happened to me in my life. On September 11, my family is Palestinian roots, you know.
Okay.
My family has Arabic roots.
Okay.
My grandfather was born in Bethlehem.
Oh wow.
He always said that he was born 5 blocks from Jesus, from where Jesus is born. He says,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
We are not sure where exactly Jesus was born, but there are many studies and documentaries on Jesus and stuff, you
Okay.
know.
Okay. Okay.
So he always tell me this, my past. And I'm telling you this because my brother on September 11 on 2001, when the twin towers were taken down, you know, the sadly event.
Okay. Yeah.
My brother was traveling from Dallas, Texas, or Austin. I don't know. He was in Austin or Dallas.
Yeah.
He was traveling to New York City
Wow.
on that morning.
Wow.
He was in the lobby of the hotel he was staying before taking the plane, before the event happened. And there was an American man that looked at him and said, because of you, we're all suffering.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
you know,
Yeah.
well, we all, we all, when we all are hurt, sometimes we act in ignorance,
Yes. Yes. Sure.
but there's nowadays in 2018 there are many signs that those towers were taken down. They weren't
There's,
probably taken down by themselves,
yes, I understand. Sure.
because they
Yeah.
don't they don't fall with a plane crashed on it.
Yeah. That's right. You're right.
You have to be very dumb to believe that.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
So Mr. Cameron, he had this uh, vision awaken when he woke up that many people was dying,
Wow.
that many people was burning, and when they were driving to the airport in Austin or Dallas, I don't know where exactly he was, they switched on the radio and it was everywhere, you know, the twin towers are on fire, the planes are crashing, and
Wow.
everything was like. So I was worried for my brother. Then I received I was at school back then, but when I got home, my mother told me that my brother was okay, that he was in Dallas and he was coming back to Lima direct from there. He was not going to New York anymore and everything. So he came back and everything. Back in because many people say that these UFO phenomena comes from a lineage or a family's
Yeah.
history, you know.
Yeah.
When my mother was in 1974, my mother is 61 years old. She was born in the 56.
Okay.
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 My father is from the year 48. He's 8 years older than her.
Okay.
So my mom's friend made her before her wedding this shower bar, you know,
Yeah.
like a party.
Yeah.
So all the ladies, aunties from her, my grandmother, and all the young ladies back in those years, they reunited in a house to celebrate she was getting married and such, you know.
Yes.
This house was located on front of the embassy of Belgium
Okay.
here in Lima
Okay.
back in 1974. They were celebrating, and my mom was at the door receiving, you know, her aunts, her
Yes.
cousins, her
Yes.
friends, and such.
Yes.
Suddenly, a flying saucer, like, you know, like 20. Here we measure things in meters.
Yes.
Like, let's say 30 feet or 20 meters from the house, you know,
Yeah.
on top of the house with a little red light in the center. The nucleus of the ship was the only thing that was
Spinning.
spinning,
Yeah.
but all the craft was very dark, metallic, round, like the normal UFO, like the Nazis UFO, you know, those
Yeah.
types of
Yeah. Yeah.
typical UFOs, you know.
Yeah.
And the Belgians and the Peruvian policemen guarding the Belgium embassy in front said, "Stay inside. Don't panic. This is a UFO. Don't panic."
Wow.
My mom and everyone were like panic and at the same time excited. They were shouting like, "Hey, guys, calm down. Let's drink. Let's have a drink. Let's eat something." You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They saw it, Mr. Cameron. They saw it for 30 minutes.
Wow.
30 minutes. There were no cameraman in the party because back in 1974,
Yeah.
only women in the party. Usually, women back then didn't have a camera. You know, not
That's right.
to be. I don't want to sound like I'm misogynist. You know,
Yeah. Well,
I
even
don't
in
want to sound.
75, when we had our sightings in 75, it was very hard because there was no cell phones. The cameras were all, with film. It was nobody carried a camera in those days.
Yes. There was no photographer for that event, okay? Because she had like 2 showers parties, and that was her friend shower party. So it was like a relaxed reunion of 50 people, you know?
Yeah.
But all of them that are alive and remember that they can recall that they saw the ship on top of the house for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
There have been a lot of calls from other people in programs here in Peru that recall UFO sightings from those years in the 70s here in Lima. Also, the Grupo Rama and many other had sightings back in those days.
Yeah.
I always thought that is related, that somehow it comes from the back of your family. You know, my grandmother the father of my father, the mother of my father, sorry,
Yes.
was a Rosa Cruz,
Oh, okay. Okay.
from the order of the Rosa Cruz, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And she studied metaphysics, you know, and
Wow.
all those types of things.
Yeah.
I didn't know much because I knew my grandmother. She died when I was 11, you know, but she was not. She always read about metaphysics and those things, you know.
Yeah.
And the grandmother of my mother, which is my great grandmother,
Yes.
she was a medium, and
Okay.
they do as the spiritual meetings in an Arab club here in Lima.
Okay.
They usually did this, not Ouija board, no. The when they use, instead of a Ouija board, they use a cup, a glass of wine.
Okay.
You know, have you heard of
No,
those
never heard that.
ceremonies?
No. No. No.
That maybe you put a glass of wine, the other way around on top of the table, and maybe you put some letters, and they communicate like it's a Ouija board, like a Ouija board,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Okay.
But they always tell me that my grandmother, when she used this type, when they did this type of thing, the glass exploded,
Wow.
when they did this type of ceremony, you know. I
Wow.
don't know if she was somehow a witch or some sort of that. I don't think she was a
Right.
bad person,
Yeah.
you know.
Just yeah. Intuitive.
But
Yeah.
they were spiritual, and they were curious about these crafts, you know,
Wow.
because energy is real, you know. It's
Yes.
like wind. It's like
Yes.
wind. We don't see wind, but we feel it, and it's real. We
Yeah.
don't see
Right.
God, but God is everywhere, you know. It's
You're right.
existence, it's
You're right.
creation, you know.
Sure.
So all this phenomena has been happening to me from since 2013, and I feel like I have to be like, if I ever have a dream of some kind of disaster or something, now I know more than before, that I will be more capable of maybe warning people that something wrong will happen, or maybe I can warn myself that maybe we're going to be in danger or something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
So
right.
I
You're right.
now
Okay.
I believe in my abilities more than before, because I feel like I'm more connected. I have a lot of synchronicities. Every time I grab my phone, I have 11 and 11, 222,
Okay.
333, 111,
Yeah. Yeah.
555, you know. I get all these synchronicities on my cell phone and my timings in my clocks and everything, you know.
Okay.
And I've always felt like connected to, not to religion, but to this type of creation, or
Yeah.
maybe the story of Jesus, you know. The story of Jesus, I had a dream about Jesus, and it wasn't a white Jesus
Yeah.
like we've been told, you know.
Yeah.
I think that Jesus is pretty much like a little bit more darker skin,
Sure.
green eyes, black
Middle
curly
Eastern. Sure. You'd
hair,
be Middle
and
Eastern.
a lot more like an Arab, you know,
Yeah.
or a
Exactly.
Jewish or something, you
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like this white, hairless guy, you know, with no
Okay.
hairs.
Yeah.
I'm telling you because I had this dream. I have this lovely dream. Like a year ago, I had this dream that I was on a bus and everyone was sitting down. There
Okay.
was no space for anyone else. It was current time, you know. It was 2017,
Yeah.
imagine,
Yeah.
here in Lima. And a man with a rope, with an old rope like Jesus,
Okay.
came inside the bus,
Okay.
and he was standing next to me. And I was like, fuck, this is Jesus, you know. I have to give him my seat. And
Yeah.
I stand up and I said, sir, you can sit down, you know, if you want. And he sit down in my place. And I was grabbing myself from the hangers from the bus, you know, the
Yeah.
bus
Yeah.
hanger, like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was next to him, and I was telling this a lot of jokes to Jesus. And he was laughing all this in my dream. He was laughing about, not about me, about the jokes I was telling him, you know.
Wow.
It was a very lovely, lovely dream somehow, you know. And I've been having this phenomena since, I told you, since 2013. This is almost all I can recall from all these past years I have been experiencing. Oh, I have one more experience,
Okay.
Mr. Cameron.
Okay.
There's places here in Peru that are called huacas. Huacas are little ceremonial places, like little pyramids. You know, no pyramids, but they look like little ceremonial antique places. You know, pre-Incas or Inca from the time of the Incas, or maybe post Inca time. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
but for sure from older culture. You know.
Yes.
In these places, there has been a lot of human and animal sacrifice. You know.
Yeah.
So one day I went. If you ever come to Lima, that will be great. There is
Yes.
a place to have dinner. It's a very fancy place that is called La Huaca Puquiana. It's a very lovely restaurant on top of a huaca. You know,
Oh, okay.
it's a
Okay.
very elegant restaurant on top of a huaca. So everything around is very historical. You know,
Yeah.
as the ones that study history. You know how to say.
Archaeologists.
Archeolo- it's a fancy restaurant on top of a archaeologist area, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to have a dinner there, and when I was reading the menu, I felt these hands of people pulling my shirt down to the floor, you know, like
Yeah.
crying for help, you know, like hanging from me, you know,
Yeah.
like a cry of help, you know, like someone suffering, like someone burning or someone bleeding, you know.
Yeah.
They were grabbing me and I told my partner, I said, Albert, I feel weird. I told him, what's going on? I feel like someone is pulling me to the floor. Like I feel like there has been many people suffered here,
Yeah.
but it's not that I'm imagining. I'm feeling it right now, you know.
Yeah.
And whenever I go to this church place, I feel this weird phenomena, you know. Apart from I'm I'm so excited to talk to you because for me, persons like you make me believe of a better future, of a better world that is not just this circus of UFO conference. You know, I know the people that do research do uh, conference. Also, you know, but
Yeah.
I think that you and some others are apart from these people that are not taking ufology and paranormal, psychic, and all these studies seriously. You know,
Yeah.
there
So
are
for
very
some
few
people, it's a
people.
business. Yeah.
There are a few people that really care about the experiencers and all the phenomena instead of money and all this fame. And I've seen people in the army bases, and no, I probably believe that those places exist, you know, and I probably think it's valid, you know, their stories, but those stories are far from what normal people in the outside world are living, you know.
Yeah.
We are
Very.
seeing entities on top of our houses, not in Area 51,
Yeah.
not in, you know,
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
seeing, we're having calls on our phones from the future, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
That's the
these
thing.
things are
Yeah.
how
That's the
these
thing.
things
You're
are happening.
actually interacting with the phenomena. That's extremely important. That
Yes,
you're
but
dealing,
apart from
whatever the intelligence is, you're dealing with it. That's important.
Mr. Cameron, I'm telling you that I'm so excited that I forgot something that happened to me after my father had the heart attack.
Okay, go ahead.
After my father had the heart attack, I experienced another kind of entity that I never saw before. That probably you've heard online in very few channels of ufology and paranormal things, and this entity is real. I can swear to all my health in my life and my father's health. I can swear on that.
Yeah. Okay.
I was on my boyfriend's house, in my boyfriend's house the other day, and we
Okay.
were watching TV. I was watching TV with him. Okay.
Okay.
We were watching TV, and the door faces to us. You know, uh, there's a door, and there's a walking out to the other rooms in the apartment of his house. You know, there was no one else home, and we were there. And before that, uh, when I before that, I saw when the first time I went there, I felt like there was I saw an entity wearing a hat, like a fedora,
Okay.
like a cowboy man, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's a black entity, you know. It's not like a ghost that you can see the face or the eyes.
Okay.
Sorry, it's very hot in here.
Yeah.
It's like it's a man wearing a fedora, you know.
Against the wall?
And the first time I saw it passing by, okay,
Yeah.
it passed by, and I asked my boyfriend. I asked him, uh, I just saw someone, and he said to me, some friend back back some years ago saw it too, and he told me that he saw it too.
Okay.
This this guy that saw it too was born the same day I was born.
Wow. Wow.
That's pretty funny, yeah.
Okay.
And I told him, I don't feel like this entity is bad, you know.
Yeah.
It's tall, and somehow like I can feel maybe it's your grandfather. And he believed me and said, and he said, maybe it is because my grandfather was very near to me. He was very caring for me, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But he died some years ago. Okay, and I said, well, I'm sorry for that. Okay,
Yeah.
we let it pass. Okay, I saw the ghost of my boyfriend's grandfather. Okay, whatever. But the other day we were the same room. We were watching TV, and this entity. Sorry, that we're about to leave.
Okay.
This entity was uh, here is Alberto. He's a Grand Cameron. Hi.
Pleasure to meet you.
This is Alberto, so he can recall that we saw this. We had this experience in his room some days ago, like 2 weeks or 1 week ago, after my father's heart attack.
Okay.
So, Mr. Cameron, we were watching TV and we saw this entity. Yeah, we saw this. Uh, sorry. Conchas. Se cayó el adaptador. Yeah, I don't know where is it. Sorry, Mr. Cameron.
No problem. No problem.
Uh, we were watching TV, and someone stopped in the door of the living room, stopped and stared at us. It was a 3D black figure, like a shadow, but in 3D. How can you recall a shadow in 3D? Shadows are not 3D, right?
That's right.
This figure was like 3D figure, very tall. For me, it was wearing like some kind of hat because I could see it like the silhouette, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Alberto, which he's next to me now, he said, "You saw that?" And I said, "Yeah, I saw that. I saw it too." Okay, close the door. We were scared like hell, you know.
Yeah.
And he can recall that like some weeks ago before that, he was having hard time getting sleep in his room,
Yeah.
and he started hearing some noises, you know. And he asked the next day to his mother, "Mom, my dad has been walking all night, you know, doing these noises. I can hardly sleep, you know.
Yeah.
What was he doing? What was wrong?" And she said, Alberto, your father has been sleeping all night. No one came outside to the living room at night, you know.
Yeah.
So this black fedora man that Alexis Brooks, for example, I guess she talked about in one video, and many other TV channels, many other YouTube channels, sorry, are talking about, you know, this black fedora man that is becoming a real entity that is appearing almost every home in every continent. You know, there is also another guy who called like a month ago to the radio station program and said that he saw this cowboy silhouette in his house
Yeah.
that was scary as hell for him in a place that there used to be a lot of civil war here in Lima.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is all, almost all the paranormal activity that we've been seeing or experiencing these years, you know.
Wow. That's a fascinating story. I'm honored that you would tell me the story. I'm very, very interested, and hopefully you can let me know in the next as things occur, and we'll have more conversations and update it, because you are journaling it, which is what you should do. As to the shadow figures, I'll give you some information on. They call it shadow beings or shadow figures. I've got
Shadow people,
most experiencers see them, so it's not unusual. I've got and with the hat, that's the unusual thing, is they're wearing the fedora. This idea. So I hope you can keep me updated in the next couple of days if something else happens, and send me the videos, and we'll talk in a couple of days. Is that okay?
That's fine, Mr. Cameron. I want to invite you to, if you want, in some time or in some minutes, you can check my YouTube channel, and you can see the videos that I already upload, so you can see it easily, the entities and everything there.
Okay, send me a link for that on
Messenger.
on the messenger.
I will.
And we will talk again. And I will have you maybe on my radio show. I have a radio show called the Cameron Files.
Yes, I know.
Tuesday. So I think your story needs to be shared. I've taped this, but I would like to have you on my radio show as well, so that people can learn from you, because you have a very interesting story that I think is very meaningful for other experiencers who may not know what's going on. They may be where you were in 2013.
Yes, I'm very into it, because I decided to make a journal of it, as you said, because it's happening so often that I need to first search within my stories or within my experiences, and then search on others, you know, while I search on mine, you know.
Yeah, I can give you some insights on a lot of the stuff you'll talk about. I'll send you some links. I have one on my YouTube channel is the White House UFO. I have a guy I'm putting up either tomorrow or the next day. His name is Tony, and his story is very similar to yours. He had premonitions of a lot of events like you. He talks about that, and I think you'll find his story very interesting.
Thanks. I will be so into it. I will be interested in listening to that. And I also heard a story of a blonde American woman that had an experience like mine. Maybe you know about her. She's an experiencer too. Maybe in Sedona, I don't know where, but she saw an orange rectangle also.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. She's a blonde experiencer, American blonde.
Okay.
I have her on my Facebook, but I cannot recall. I cannot remember her name right now.
Kim Carlsberg, maybe.
She's a lovely blonde lady, very thin, with a little ponytail, I guess.
Okay, I'll try to find it, because I know a lot of people in Sedona. I'll find out who that is. And
she saw a rectangle.
wow.
And I wrote her. She saw a rectangle, orange rectangle, and I wrote her on inbox, but I never got an answer.
Okay.
So well, it's been a pleasure, Mr. Cameron. If you want to ask me anything, just email me or write to me.
I'll be in touch within the next 24 hours. I'll be in touch again. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you for your story. I'm honored to have gotten your story from you. Thank you very much.
The honor is mine, sir. Take care.
You have a good night.
Good night. Take care. Bye. Blessings.